I've been a vegan, a hardcore plant-based diet for the past 2 years. No dairy, no animal products, no eggs. And so I've been under this illusion that I've been so in such a good diet. And I think many vegans feel the same way, that I can eat anything. And yet I am very concerned that there is now a quote unquote big vegan of food products such as Impossible, Beyond Beef, that is corporate America has found their way into marketing themselves as healthy and vegan and putting that great, V label on their food. And I'm curious your take on plant-based and veganism. And is it possible we're being taken for a ride as well?
Well, I'm not a vegan, but I think the evidence is very clear that vegan diets, when done well enough and make sure they have an adequate amount of vitamin B12 and an adequate amount of calories, they're fine and they're healthier than the average American diet. There's nothing wrong with a vegan diet if you want to eat that way. I'm not a vegan. I think it's much too much trouble.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't want to have to interview everybody about whether there's an animal-based ingredient in what I'm eating. I like ice cream too much to give it up, if the truth be known. And I don't think vegan substitutes make the grade. But everything in moderation. But the new products are interesting because they fall into the category of ultra processed. And ultra processed is a relatively new term. It's only been around for the last 10 years or so. And it refers to foods that are industrially produced, can't be made in home kitchens, don't bear any resemblance to the foods from which they were derived, and often have a lot of color, flavor, and texture additives. And the new substitute meat products fall exactly into the ultra-processed category. And what we know about ultra-processed foods in general is that they are strongly associated with poor health if you eat a lot of them. People who eat a lot of ultra-processed foods have higher body weights, have obesity-related chronic diseases, have higher mortality. And there's now one extraordinarily well-done clinical trial that demonstrates that ultra-processed foods encourage people to eat more calories. Not a few more calories, but hundreds more calories. And that alone is a sufficient explanation for weight gain when people eat a lot of these foods. People who eat ultra-processed diets don't realize they're eating more calories. They're unaware that they're eating faster, they're eating larger portions. They just don't even realize it. They didn't intend to. But that's the observation from some pretty excellent science. So these are ultra-processed foods, and whether they have the same effect or not, we don't really know. Their effects on the environment are still being debated. It depends on what assumptions you make about environmental impact. They still require a lot of energy to produce. I just don't know. I've tasted the substitute meats. I think they're a pretty good substitute on taste and texture. They're not bad. And people on vegan diets tell me that they are so grateful for these options. And that surprises me because I really like vegetables and fruits and grains, and I'm perfectly happy not to have meat. I don't have it as a big part of my diet. But I went to the plant-based show in New York recently. They had an exhibition of plant-based products. I didn't think they tasted very good for the most part. I was disappointed, and there were very few plant foods. I mean, there was one seller of an excellent brand of Italian tomatoes, canned, and nobody was paying any attention to him at all. It was vegan product Lunchables. I was kind of appalled.